I competed in science fair for 2 years when I was in high school, and it totally changed my life, and I fell in love with this little science fair world, and became fascinated with the characters that are in it. And so it's full of these nerdy, wonderful, brilliant, inspiring, hilarious teenagers. And so I wanted to go back and tell their story as I remember it. And Darren and I are investigative journalists, so this is totally different than anything we've ever done before. But Darren immediately understood the value and the humor in this world, and so we kind of undertook this quest to make a movie about the International Science Fair.
Yeah, well, I was a science kid growing up as well. I did not compete at the level that Christina did in science fair. I was more in the baking soda volcano world. So, you know, the film is about the science fair, but it's really for everyone, and it's approachable from, you know, people that are really scientists and people like me who not so much. But the value in it is basically it's basically a celebration of this world of these kids and a validation of these kids and all the things that they do and they love that they don't always get at home. And the International Science Fair celebrates them like rock stars. It's a really wonderful experience for all of them to have. I mean, they go there and it's just a big party for kids that love science and a big exchange of ideas as well. The International Science Fair is just an embarrassment of riches when it comes to characters and kids. There are 1,700 kids from all around the world, from 78 different countries, and any one of those kids is worthy of a documentary unto themselves. So I think the biggest challenge we face is like, how do we hone in on just a few of these characters that are representative of the whole experience. So, you know, for us, I think that was, you know, one of the biggest revelations is just like how many amazing kids there are in this world. The future is very bright. I know sometimes we get down on ourselves and we look around the world and maybe things seem a little glum, but this was really sort of restored my faith in the future, and I think for you as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think something that's very surprising about this world is just the level of science that kids are doing at the science fair. You would think, you know, baking soda volcanoes,
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
You would think that they're doing kid science, but in reality they're doing really amazing high-level stuff. I mean, just the fair that we visited alone, there were 500 patents that came out of it, which is, it's really incredible, the level of how brilliant these kids are. It's just mind-blowing. Darren is the son of 2 teachers, and so...
Yeah, we love teachers.
We love teachers.
Yeah. And there's no doubt that teachers are, you know, that's the most important job next to being a parent, I think. These teachers are with these kids all day long, and they're there to sort of shape young minds at a very impressionable time in their lives. So when you see someone like Dr. McCullough or Coach Schmidt, to us it was like so important to have that perspective in the film because of the dedication, and you know, just like these kids should be validated and celebrated for the science they're doing, we felt like people like Dr. McCullough and teachers in this world also should be recognized for the amazing work that they do.
What's amazing about Science Fair is it's basically half girls, half boys now. And when you look at science in the higher levels, the number of girls who participate falls off, obviously, and there are many fewer female scientists than male scientists. But I think Science Fair does a really good job at encouraging young women and reaffirming their intelligence and getting them to stick with it. And I think science fairs are important for all children, but I think they're especially important for young girls. It was my first experience with this kind of validation, and it was important for me, and I see it in all of our characters too, all of the kids.
I mean, I think from the beginning it was really important for us to sort of let the kids speak for themselves and be themselves, and not to sort of like set the expectations of what a young science mind is like. So we really want to portray these kids as they are, which is complicated, three-dimensional characters. And I mean, to call them characters, they're kids, they're real people.
Kids, yeah.
But I mean, like they, you know, they're just teenagers who happen to have this passion for science. And so it was important for us to really just sort of build out the picture of the world beyond just the experiments they're doing.
I'm the daughter of an immigrant from Latin America, and you know, I think, like Dr. McCullough says, we understand the sacrifice that our parents gave for us to be here. And so many of our scientists nowadays are immigrants or the children of immigrants. And during this time in our country when there's a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment, we wanted to make that point that this is who our scientists are. These are the people that have made our country so strong and so wonderful, and lead the charge when it comes to science. And so we have to respect them and give them credit, and make sure that they want to continue coming here because they're so important to our strength as a nation. Well, I mean, we always say that we live during these times when a lot of adults are acting like children, and here we have a bunch of children who are acting like adults and showing us kind of the way forward, I think, as a nation. And we have always hoped that a lot of kids would watch this and see themselves in the kids in our movie, and continue on their paths and maybe be encouraged to enter science and science fair. But we hope that it reminds adults too what our values should be as a country and what our path forward should be.
Yeah, I think one of the earlier reviewers of the film called it a tonic, and I think for Christina and I, like in the making of the film, it was a bit of a tonic as well, as a way to, sort of plug into what the next generation is up to. And if anybody out there is in fear, I mean, the next generation, the future is very bright.